Good morning and welcome to the third installment of Freeing Yourself from Limiting Beliefs. This is Shamir Ladani, and I'm happy to share with you the third part. And hopefully you've done, in the past 4 weeks, you've done the first two parts. So let us dive deep into this one, of course. So let us first recap the first two sessions. It's important that we know how things flow. And my aim is that when we're done the fourth part, which is in 2 weeks, that you'll not need to really remember to do the exercises from the first three, but that the fourth one will have an all-encompassing practice for you that you can move on. Of course, I invite you to go back and read or review the first three or all of them whenever you want, because you'll always pick up something different from this exercise. Remember, the life is a spiral, and you're always moving in a different direction all the time. So your beliefs will change. What are your beliefs right now serve you in this moment, but they may not serve you in the future as you level up your game. So that's an invitation to you, but I'm hoping that at least for a short amount of time after you're done the fourth session, that the practices will hold you to your next level. So let's recap sessions 1 and 2. So in session 1, we talked about the 3 types of goals. Those 3 types of goals were basically type 1, type 2, type 3, and we explored the amount of inspiration you got from each type of goal. Type 1 was all about me. I want to do this because it makes me feel good, to the exclusion of others in some cases. Type 2 is, I want us to feel wonderful. I want us to experience this. And if we can cut in front of a line, both of us or 3 of us, if my family can get ahead, it doesn't matter where everybody else is. And sometimes, that's perhaps the best advice for you in the moment, in the context. And it might inspire you because you're now supporting the family, you're feeling wonderful, you're defending them. It gives you that sense on a more global scale. You're defending the country to the exclusion of the ones you call your enemy. So that is level 2. My goal is to win this. I remember watching a baseball game where one of the celebrities was actually praying for one of her favorite team to win. That's a level 2 type of a wish, because you're looking at not the benefit for everybody, just the benefit for that particular team. So that's a type 2. Type 3 is, I want humanity to improve. And so, experiencing these things, for example, I want world peace. And if I want to, it'll take me some effort. I might make personal sacrifices to achieve world peace, but it's no longer about me. It's no longer about my family who's going to miss me because I'm not going to be around for them because I'm working on world peace in this example. And so you're kind of sacrificing everything for world peace. Now, sometimes that is deflating. Sometimes it allows you to feel more experience or more inspiration, I should say. So, these are the 3 types of goals. Not one is not better than the other in any sense of the imagination. But what is important, and this is the takeaway, is if it inspires you, if it makes you feel lighter, if it puts a smile on your face, and if it creates this ability for you to all of a sudden get epiphanies, then that is really the aim. So the idea was to actually generate inspiration from a goal or a want or a need that you pick, okay? And then what we did was we said, well, once we actually identified, this is what I want this for me, I want this for my family, I want this for the humanity. And if those 3 line up, awesome. What happens is there's naysayer thoughts that come in and basically let you know that, how are you going to do this? You've never done this before. Others have tried. They failed. What makes you think you're so wonderful? And that's the kind of naysayer thoughts that come in that are actually, I consider them as gifts. Gifts because those are the ones that actually point to a limiting belief that we have that holds us in our current state. So those limiting beliefs in the past helped us navigate through life, and they were appropriate for that time. But in this particular state, it just holds you back because you've leveled up now. And what you need to do is take those limiting beliefs and evaluate whether they're useful to you now or not. So what we did was we identified limiting beliefs, and through monitoring our thoughts, these naysayer thoughts that come up, all right? And then what we did was, in the last session, we actually identified what are the opposite of those limiting beliefs. And then we created those opposite of limiting beliefs to replace the beliefs. So this was a challenge. Once you identify the limiting beliefs, you create an opposite statement. And then once you do that, you've now created something that is, it'll negate the limiting belief, okay? So that's really the three things that we kind of covered in the past two sessions. And then you had some takeaways from this. The last session you had reflecting upon your wants and needs, and then monitor your naysayer thoughts. That was your takeaway. The second one was practicing accessing source wisdom. This is where you do the self-reflection and really identify that, are these the limiting beliefs that I truly hold, or are they just something that my body uses to placate me to avoid going deeper because it's becoming more vulnerable, the wounds may be deeper. So this is where you connect and check with source wisdom. And I gave you a meditation to practice with if you wanted to do that, okay? So the last one was to modify and tweak those wants and needs, because once you move from level one and you have a level one need, and you kind of modify it so that it encompasses level two and even beyond to level three, something that you would want for yourself. One of the examples that I can think of is, I want to have a house in a wonderful nature place, perhaps maybe overlooking a lake or a beach or an orchard. And that was started out as, this is me, because I just want that. And then when I expanded that, thought about it, well, I could actually do some more work like I'm doing now, and it would give me more inspiration. And if I have more inspiration, I can serve humanity that much more. And so that turned into, from a level one, kind of turned into a level three goal. And then now I'm inspired and juiced by it, because that is really my promise to serve humanity. And that is really what we want to do, is modify these wants and needs so that it gives us inspiration. And that is the key. So now I want to invite you to type in your reflections and thoughts. If there's anything that happened in the past 2 weeks that you practiced, that you want to share with us now, those on the live call here, or those who are going to be listening to this as a recording. If you want to share that, please type that in. And I would love to explore that with you if you want. Consider this like a group coaching at this point in time. So while you're thinking about typing them in and what your experience of the past 2 weeks were, and if you have any questions, just type them in at any time and I'll be able to respond. One of the famous icons that I grew up with, the late, great Muhammad Ali, formerly known as Cassius Clay. I remember he was big in the 70s and 80s, mostly in the 70s. And he had this statement, and now, he is one of the greats in the sports and entertainment figures. Mike Tyson was asked this question in front of Muhammad Ali in a talk show. Mike Tyson, who's another giant in the boxing world, he was said that if you were to go in the boxing ring with Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali was in his prime, who would win? And Mike Tyson basically said that, he says, I'm a narcissistic person. Like, I'm all about me. But I'll tell you something. This man, Muhammad Ali, would beat me. He is the greatest. There's no doubt in my mind. Muhammad Ali had so much respect from the sports world, from every all walks of life, because he showed how humans can achieve beyond belief their accomplishments. And so this is what he said about you are being what you believe. What he said is, to be a great champion, you must believe you are the best. If you're not, pretend you are. And that pretending you are is something that is, something that heart math folks came up with as a scientific basis upon which we can actually build more resilience. It's about imagining the feeling and experiencing that feeling truly deeply in your imagination, having your imagination trigger that feeling of greatness, of worth, of healing, all of those things. When you actually pretend it's happening to you, the body takes over and releases the enzymes it requires to match that emotion. That's the key. Your emotions drive the enzymes and the production of all your chemicals in your body to match that feeling. It's not the other way around. Most of us want to experience feelings, and then we decide how we're going to experience that feeling, whereas we want to create a feeling and allow the body to match that feeling and follow that. And that is what Muhammad Ali said. I thought that was very interesting that he said that in the 70s. So now we're going to talk about this part 3, about how to embed the reality that you want, overcoming the limiting beliefs into your DNA. Okay. So the first thing that we did, we actually unearthed the limiting beliefs. The limiting beliefs were actually deflating and limiting to you in achieving the next level. Every time you wanted these grandiose plans that you had, I want to do this, there were these naysayer thoughts came in. So the first thing we did was identify what those are. The second thing is we replaced them with new beliefs. These are inspiring, hopeful. We're saying, actually, when we actually have these new beliefs, we're saying we don't have it now. We strive towards it. Okay, so what we're saying is that these are my new beliefs, and we still haven't ingrained that into our system and saying, this is what I really want. We're saying this is what I really want rather than this is what I have. And today's session, what we're going to do is we're going to turn them into more of a gratitude, as if we are now experiencing it in the now. So we're going to turn it into, I wish I had this, to I am now experiencing this now. And that change will allow your body to catch up with your feelings, exactly what Muhammad Ali said decades ago. And HeartMath has been saying this, for 25 years now. So this is what we're going to do today. By all means, type in your questions if you have any. So what I'd like you to do now is I want you to take a minute, and I'll give you an example, and then I'll give you a minute or so to actually do this. What I'd like you to do is your belief statements that you created, that are replacement belief statements, turn them into gratitude statements. So we use the sentence structure below to now turn it into something that says, I have this now. So you can say, I am so happy and grateful. That's a gratitude part. Now that, and then you state your new belief, because I have it now. So this change is going to be a game changer for you when you actually practice this in the next couple of weeks. Okay. So I'll give you an example of what we did in the first 2 sessions. And I'll show you how I turn them into gratitude statements. So our limiting belief statements, for example, in the example that I cited before, was, I believe I am not able to earn more than I am now. The replacement belief was exactly the opposite of that. I believe I can earn more money than I have ever earned before. Now, notice the statement. The statement says, I believe I can earn. That means I am not earning right now. That I believe, my belief is I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. You got this, you got this. It's still not I have it right now. It's I'm going to have it, is the sentiment here. Well, the gratitude statement says, I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities continually. That is something that you can get inspired about. You can basically say that because there's a reason why you're not able to earn more now. There's a reason why you want to earn more, I should say. And it's not about, I just want to be greedy. You've already given it a higher purpose. And so the inspiration will go along with the feeling of gratitude. That is the key. That is the key to actually shifting your reality. And in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to ask you to practice nothing but that. Okay. Let's take a couple more examples. If you had a limiting belief that says, I believe I'm incapable of accomplishing my life's goals. Your replacement belief was, I believe that universe has my back and will provide experiences that benefit me in this example. And the gratitude is, I'm so happy and grateful now that the universe continues to support me in achieving my life's desires. Okay. I now am so happy that the universe does this for me right now. And then you can feel into it and let the body catch up to that feeling. The last example I wanted to share with you is I believe that my views are not important. That's something that I went through in my life. I didn't think that my views were important. I didn't think I was worthy of anybody's company. And so the replacement belief is, I believe that all my efforts will yield positive results for me and others. So if I truly believe that, what is my gratitude statement? I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm experiencing positive results for me and others in everything I do. This is a very powerful statement that says, I have a high self-worth, that I'm experiencing positive results for me and others in everything I do. Okay, these are the examples of turning your limiting beliefs into replacement belief statements, which you should have done in the past couple of sessions. And now I want you to take a minute or so and now turn your actually replacement belief systems, your statements, into gratitude statements using this particular sentence structure, saying, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then continue on. And I will do the same right now, and then we'll share. All right, so do that. I'll give you a minute or two to do that. All right, so go ahead and do that. If you're ready, start typing your comments in. If you're listening to this live, type them into the chat area. I'm happy to read it out. If you're listening to this as a replay, put them in the comment section, and I always pay attention to the comments that are in there. So I'll give you a minute or so to type them in. Right. While you're typing them in, I'll share with you mine, what I wrote down. And again, I made sure that I did not write these things down before because I wanted to do it with the energy that I feel here. And what was interesting is that I wrote them out in like less than 15 seconds. I have 4 statements, and the reason is it's because I've been practicing the practice homework. And it takes me a little while to kind of come up with these gratitude statements, and I have to look up my new belief and all of those things. But I just decided that today I was not going to go back to my belief statements. I'm just going to write it down based on whatever is sitting inside of me, and I wrote it down. So, that's something that I realized, is that if you write these things down and you have to go back and check, and I know you have to write down these things many times, the new belief statements, and then you want to do this. Normally what will happen is, once you actually becomes part of your DNA, you will write it down with really no problem at all. So I want to share with you what I wrote down today. So I wrote down, I am so happy and grateful now that I am a catalyst for positive change in lives of others. I am so happy and grateful now that I am invited to speak at large events globally. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have the freedom to travel anywhere at any time. I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities continually. Those are the 4 gratitude statements that I have, and they've been the same for many months now, because I've been doing this for a few months. So, if you want to share your gratitude statements so that others may benefit from that too, because sometimes you don't think about it until you have somebody else put their stuff in there. If not, we'll continue on. So let me just go back here. All right. So now that we have these gratitude statements, what we're going to do is we're going to actually now work towards getting them embedded. Okay. You are not, now this is almost like putting on a new pair of shoes. I know that when I put a new pair of shoes, it hurts the first time. Very uncomfortable until you break them in. Maybe I'm buying cheap shoes. I don't know. But, sometimes you have to, break some of the shoes in, especially if they're leather and they're, so I suppose this is kind of like that. We want to get these statements that we have, gratitude statements, because remember, we started out we had limiting beliefs, and we've held those limiting beliefs for such a long time. Then we made an opposite of that limiting belief. And then we said, oh, wow, this is very inspirational, but it's still not here. It's out there somewhere. And you're still uncomfortable with it because you come back to your naysayer thoughts all the time, and you have to keep replacing, saying, no, I have to do the opposite of that. And now we want to create a gratitude statement which stretches you even further. It's like saying, I'm pretending I have this wonderful house in Hawaii, for example, overlooking the ocean. But you know that you don't have it now, and your body's struggling with that fact of, this is my current reality versus this is my future reality. What we want to do is we want to feel the future and allow the body to catch up. And pretty soon, when the body catches up, the chemical responses change and your DNA changes. Okay, it's a permanent change, because what happens is there's a shift in the electromagnetic field in your body that holds a particular cellular structure together in different parts of your body, including your brain, which actually broadcasts these things. Okay, so let us now begin to actually infuse the gratitude statement. So whatever gratitude statements you have, keep that on the ready, and we will actually invite that as part of our being. And so let us practice this, and then you can also practice this, after, and keep doing that. We'll try it right now. We'll practice it here, and then you may want to come back and repeat it again until it becomes a part of you and you start stating these things flawlessly. All right. So let us now begin. Let's place our awareness in the area of the heart. The heart is a huge engine. It produces huge electromagnetic fields, and it actually broadcasts your emotions. So your emotions are imbued on the magnetic field, which then allows your body to catch up to those feelings from chemical responses. And now you're broadcasting your desires to the universe, and that the universe will match the desires in return. Okay, great. I see Michelle shared with us her abundance statements. She says, I'm so happy and grateful now that I set and achieve my goals. So that's in the present. So she now sets and achieves her goals. As a matter of fact, Michelle, that was my first act, was to actually sit down and set the goals. I never set the goals. So how would the universe know? How would the universe know what I want if I don't set the goals? So that was my very first action when I started this many months ago, is I actually set my goals. Okay. Thank you. The second one is, I'm so happy and grateful now that I receive rewarding experiences and successes. Brilliant. I'm so happy and grateful now that there is abundance for each and every one of us. Beautiful, because that says that you are not worried about somebody else's success. That everybody, the sandbox is big enough. If everybody is joyous, this is a level 3 want. Is I want everyone to be abundant, which is very beautiful, and it's very inspirational to feel that way. I'm so happy and grateful that money flows to me from multiple sources in increasing amounts on a continuous basis. Love it. In the statement, your statement, it becomes part of your DNA. Yes, it is actually part of your DNA, and your DNA is more than just a physical cellular structure. It is actually multidimensional, and it actually accesses, energies that we don't see, we can't measure, we don't even know they exist, but there's enough evidence to show that our DNA molecule actually accesses, these energies, and they behave very metaphysically from a scientific perspective. So thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing. Now you'll have something to do when we do this next part. So let us now start with our awareness in the area of the heart. Let us take slow, deep, gentle breaths and just experience these breaths flowing into our heart and out from our heart. And you want to slow it down a bit more and take deeper breaths. And you can actually imagine them flowing into your heart, to your lower abdomen, and energetically down your legs and through the center of the earth. Energetically, you want to take those deep breaths from the universe into your heart, down your legs, into the earth. And then as you exhale, draw the supporting energies from the earth through your legs and up out from your heart and beyond. And as you do that, imagine that you are now drawing in inspiration from the universe into the center of the earth. And as you're doing that, if you need to read your statements, go ahead. If you already know them, then go ahead and recite them and experience the feelings as if you have it now. And the statement structure will allow you to do that. I'm so happy and grateful now. And then you just experience that and allow this whole fluidity between the universe and the earth and out beyond you in all directions to really take a hold and state those statements. I would say do the first statement until it becomes flawless in your prose. When you're saying it, it becomes flawless. It becomes a part of you. Then go to the second statement and do the same thing until it becomes flawless and you're not fumbling through it. It becomes a part of you. And the third and the fourth and so on. So keep doing that. We'll do this for 5 to 7 minutes. So just do that and practice that. It's going to be a wonderful experience at the end of this one. Continue to breathe deeply and allow the energies of the center of the earth to ground you. Just take all the stray energies away, those naysayer thoughts away as you experience these things. And ask your body to allow you to feel a deeper, a more intense version of gratitude. Now take a few final breaths. Allow yourself to just feel the synergies and the blendedness of the 4 gratitude statements, because all of that energy is building in you. And just experience the flow in your body as you continue to project gratitude for something that you already have in this moment, and letting your body catch up to that reality. Slow, deep breaths, and just get back to this present moment. Open your eyes if you had them closed, and experience gratitude as if it's happening now while your eyes are open, because you're going to be walking around projecting gratitude with your eyes wide open, engaging life. Okay. So now we're going to give you practice exercise. I'm happy to take any comments on your reflections. Like if you had any kind of epiphanies that come up, whatever happened. And you know, there's no structure when it comes to actually diving deep within. There's no structure. We can tell the universe that I'm really looking to experience this gratitude in my heart. But what you may experience are more naysayer thoughts, which is the universe's way of letting you know that, oh, you still have some work to do there, which is okay, because it's a cyclical thing. Like you do this exercise, and then you go back and maybe get your naysayer thoughts, identify the limiting beliefs, identify a replacement belief, turn that into gratitude statement, come back at it and see what happens when you experience that. So always go back. If you receive information, your wisdom telling you something, that is not allowing you to move forward in that gratitude statement, then there's something there we need to work out. All right. So your practice exercise until next session in 2 weeks is write down your gratitude statement at least 21 times, twice a day, morning, evening, whatever you want to do. That's the minimum. You can do more, of course. And experience emotions. As you're writing this down, just experience these emotions as you write them down. And then there'll be a time when you won't need to copy from the line above, because it'll be a part of you. You'll remember this. You can recite it. If I say to you, give me your gratitude statements, you should be able to pop them up right away. You want to get to that point, because then it becomes part of living you, and you can do that. So, write down these statements at least 21 times a day for 2 weeks, and then notice the shifts that are happening in your own mindset, in your own perception, in your life as it changes and shifts. All right. Michelle, you have a comment here. After doing the gratitude statements, my breath was lengthened from 4 and 5 seconds to 6 seconds. I feel more deeply present. Wonderful. Your body is basically saying, I'm experiencing this now. You're welcome, Michelle. You're welcome. That's wonderful. This is just the beginning. I mean, you have no idea the kind of shifts that can happen. And I mean that. I have no idea that kind of shifts that can happen. But I do know that when I experience those shifts, it's like, wow, they will be so organic, and they'll just come at you in a pleasant way, and you'll just experience wonderful shifts. So I look forward to that journey for sure. It's happening to everybody. So part 4, which is the last installment in the 4-part series, is how to aim big and stop playing small. This is where we will talk about goals. We sometimes pick goals that we feel we can achieve. And the reality is we need to pick goals that we have no idea how we're going to do it. I want to give you an example. On Wednesday, I received a call from a friend of mine. She says one of the actors for a play dropped out, for a 1-act play, dropped out. And she says, I'm stuck. Can you take his place? And I thought, well, how am I going to do this? I'll have 1.5 days to memorize my lines and the words out of my mouth. And I remembered this lesson. And I said, well, I have to walk the talk. And so I said, yes, I'll do it. And then I started worrying and got anxiety. How am I going to do this? But the reason I said yes is because I felt this inspirational pull that says, I really want to get back and do some acting. I really want to do that. I want to do that. That's my wonderful thing that I love doing. And it's just that inspiration just took me over. And I said, yes, I'd do it. And then I got the script, and I was really, and I had a full packed 2 days at my client's office. So I really didn't have much time to do that, but I found the time. I was able to record my lines, and I was listening to them as I was driving to my client's office, driving back from my client's office in the evening. I would listen to it and practice. And then, when I went there on Friday evening, we ran through the lines, and the show was a hit. I'm invited to go back again. So this is what I mean by, when you experience saying yes to something grand, you don't know how you're going to do it. You feel you're not going to be able to do it, and you hold yourself back. Whereas if you're overtaken by inspiration, the invitation is for you to say yes. And we're going to talk about that some more next lesson. All right. So if there are no other comments, I look forward to connecting with you next time in 2 weeks. So please do your homework, and I look forward to doing that. This replay will be available very shortly. So hopefully you'll be able to go back to the meditation or go back to the other 2 sessions and recap on that. Take care for now. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're welcome, Michelle. Thanks for saying